Hello, it's Ren Presents time. I'm your host, Ren, and today we continue with the 6th turn of the Shadow Tech Goddess, subtitled Cat. Part 1, Four Sisters. Chapter 6, Wheel. As we last saw, Cat and her 4 sisters are hanging out in the ruins of Clovis. Bird and Walker are becoming restless. They want to branch out. Bird wants to go to the west where the water is, while Walker wants to go east into the mountains where she saw a habitation in the Tartan lands, which is southeast of their position, a pretty fair distance away, but using her Shadow Tech stilts she can cover the ground pretty fast. Saw a habitation, wanted to go there, but Cat is insistent on staying. She wants to stay. The gods and the angels told her, stay here and we will send you this man. And she's waiting for their arrival and for the arrival of the man. And she's afraid if she leaves, she won't find either one of them. But then Walker tells her a disturbing story of seeing a ghost come out of the doors that go into the ground, and that it's probably really not safe here. Cat decides to go down to the depths and face what is there and see for herself if this place is safe or not. And she's doing it out of love for her sister. She's beginning to realize what love is. It's a word she's been contemplating a lot, and she realizes her feelings for her sisters could possibly be love. She goes down there, finds a creature in blue light that offered her gifts and offered her the man, but she was skeptical, and it asked it what the color of mercy was. It didn't know, and then it threatened to kill her and said it has a present that's for her that's pending. And then Cat encounters the ghost or the dead body of Lady Gwendolyn of Prentice, who's a prominent character in other books, but in this one she is dead. Lady Gwendolyn tells her some key things, that that demon in the blue lights killed her and stole her flesh. It was going to kill her too, and that it is currently weaving a horror realm made of nightmares. Then that it stole the antimatter that was placed here in another book. I digress. But she's using it to create a horror realm that could one day spell the end of their particular universe. So that's all pretty disquieting. So now we proceed to the penultimate chapter of part 1, chapter 6, Wheel. This is another short chapter. It's only 4 or 5 pages long. I considered melding this one with the final chapter, chapter 7, in this part, and then we moved on to part 2, but I figured I've been going chapter by chapter. This will just be a short entry. So here we go. Let's dig in, shall we? Chapter 6, Wheel. The next morning, Cat informed her sisters of what she had encountered underground, the demon in blue light, and that the ruins were not safe for them to remain. Walker and Bird were quite pleased. A problem quickly arose. Where should they go? Bird wanted to go in the direction of the setting sun, to the water. Walker wanted to go the opposite way, in the direction of the rising sun. We shall be guests in the sun's temple, and then we shall set out to the habitation beyond the mountains. And Cat, she had no idea where she wanted to go. Leaving the ruins was heartbreaking for her. She felt she was failing the gods. What of her man? Would he locate her in the wilderness? They bandied it about all morning as they ate, as they washed in the cistern. Eventually, they decided to settle the matter with wrestling. The winner would decide where they went. Walker made quick work of Bird. Bird was not a great wrestler. Cat was eager to wrestle Walker. It was a rough match, both of them discolored, bloody, hair torn out in places, Bird gasping as she watched. Eventually, Walker's strength won out, and Cat was beaten. "We shall go that way," Walker, torn and bleeding, cried, pointing at the mountains. Cat wiped the blood from her mouth. "And what of the man? He will not know where to find me." Walker tended to Cat's wounds. "If he's a gift from the gods, then they will instruct him where to go." They returned to the habitations to dress, to gather their things and go. Walker wanted to get started before midday. Wheel was waiting for them in the habitation when they arrived, filthy and naked, standing somewhat bent on the dusty floor. A new basket of gifts from the angels lay before her, opened, rummaged through. "Sister, you have returned," Cat said. "We thought you lost. There is a demon roaming the depths. It is not safe here." Wheel regarded Cat with disgust. "You have stolen from me," she replied, pointing at Cat, her voice quivering with anger. "What have I stolen from you?" Cat asked. Wheel stepped forward. "This!" She held out a piece of parchment. Cat took the paper and looked at it. There were numerous black lines on the paper, all familiar in their mystery. "That is writing," she announced. "I have books full of writing. I cannot read it, and the autocon refuses to divulge what it says." "The writing proves you have stolen from me," Wheel said. Cat stared at the paper, marveling at the writing. "It says all these things here are gifts from the gods to me, to Wheel, and you have stolen them. The gods say you must die for that." Cat stared at the paper in Wheel's hand. "That cannot be what the paper says." "Yes, it is." Cat was stunned. Could it be that Wheel had deciphered the mysterious letters Cat could only marvel at? Wheel stood triumphant, while Cat was heartbroken. Never in all her entombed days in the Shade Church, or during the harrowing trip through space in the stealth missile, had her spirit been so completely crushed. All she had thought, all she had hoped for was gone. She had dared to believe she was special. That had meant everything to her. Wheel cuffed Cat across the face, sending her to one knee. "Now give me your clothes, all of you, and the food too. Everything is mine. Mine! Then we shall proceed to the cistern and execute Cat for her trespass against my property." The three of them stood there, stunned. "Now! I said seize her!" Wheel screamed. Walker found her voice. "I refuse, and I do not believe you are being truthful regarding what the paper says. Cat believes what you say, but I do not. What did the men I was given to once tell me of lying, of deceit? Are you a liar, Wheel? Who are you? You're a crawler just as we are. And there are 1, 2, 3 of us, and only one of you. We are powerful as Shadowtech. If you wish to fight us with your wheels and your lying mouth, then let us fight, and you will be destroyed." Wheel laughed. Her eyes were livid with delirium. "Get them," she said. Behind Wheel rose a great shadow in smoke and ash, reeking of Shadowtech. It was the Autocon, tiny eyes gleaming amid the smoke, holding the sundered pieces of the silver device that once imprisoned it. "What have you done?" Cat cried. The Autocon dropped the pieces and lunged, seizing both Cat and Walker, its claws sinking in deep. They writhed in agony. Bird stood helplessly, the decoration she had made clinking at her throat. "Sister, why are you doing this? We nurtured each other in the darkness. We took comfort in each other," she implored. "Because you have stolen from me, taken things that were meant to be mine. The gods favor me, not you, and as a black hat, these two will be my first victims for your arrogance." Wheel roared. ripping the decorations from Bird's neck and casting them aside. Bird, always the most timid and gentle of the three, found her courage and attacked the Autocon, trying to assist her sisters. The Autocon dashed her aside with a shattering smack. Bird rocketed it into the floor and did not move. Wheel picked Bird up by the neck. She was limp in her grasp. Finish these two. I will take this one below as a sacrifice. Wheel walked away, dragging Bird behind her. The Autocon exulted in its freedom. It ruffled its wings and soared through the window to the cistern waiting below. It was giddy with excitement, quivering as it flew, knocking Cat and Walker together like a pair of hated dolls. It landed near the water.
"And now, my dears,"
it said. It forced them to the ground and rammed its clawed fingertips further into Cat and Walker's ribs. Never had Cat felt such unendurable pain. She could do nothing but writhe on the ground and pray for death, hoping it would be swift. She felt a torrent move inside her. Her muscles clenched and a gusher of shadow tech issued forth from her mouth in a projectile of black, plunging into the depths of the cistern, the water quickly turning brackish. The process seemed to last forever as the shadow tech gushed from Cat's mouth, displacing the water in the cistern. Shadow tech shot from Walker's mouth as well, though it came out of her nose and out of her eyes, all black rivulets trailing down her face. Both of them drained. The Autocon dashed Walker aside and seized Cat by the neck.
"And you, for your temerity, I sentence you to immediate death."
The Autocon roared, rearing back and sending his claws whistling for Cat's throat. Walker summoned her strength and sprang, forming a great spike of shadow tech. She parried the blow meant to kill Cat. She was knocked off her feet. She righted herself, pushing an impressive blade from her shadow tech spike.
"Another bladed weapon,"
the Autocon hissed in rage. "To seal my fate," Walker said.
"Well then,"
the Autocon cried, turning to her.
"Come with your bladed shadow tech weapon, all so that I might savor your death all the more."
As Cat struggled to recover, the Autocon attacked Walker, its wings flapping in excitement. She again met its claws with her shadow tech blade, swinging, clashing, locking in a horrid dance. Walker was the strongest of them, the most beautiful, the most skilled, the best fighter. She must be able to meet and defeat the Autocon. If not she, then who? Her blade rent asunder, falling to the ground in jagged pieces. The Autocon's claws then found their mark, cutting deep into Walker's shoulder, dashing her to the ground near the edge of the cistern. Blood pulsed from the wound. Her remaining shadow tech spent, Walker lay there helpless. With no defense, the Autocon swiped her head off clean with a single blow and cast her headless body into the cistern. "Walker!" Cat cried, her voice clotted with emotion. Shadow tech bubbled from Walker's neck. She bobbed at the surface for a moment, then sank beneath the black. The Autocon turned to Cat.
"And now it's your turn, woman who would imprison me, enslave me, pummel me with your witless questions. How will you die? What fitting end do you deserve? You shall join your foolish comrade in the depths, buried under a living sea of shadow tech, never to be found."
Never to be found? Never to see the angels, the gods, or her man? To be dead here in the wilderness, unmourned, unsung, undiscovered? The thought terrified her. The Autocon attacked, bringing the claws that had just killed Walker down in a dreadful arc. Though low on shadow tech, Cat wasn't fully drained of it. In an instant, she formed shadow tech claws of her own and met the Autocons in mid-swing, wondering if this would be the last act of her life. Shadow tech screamed. Sparks fell to the ground. Cat was spun around in midair with the force of the blow, her arm wrenched back in pain. Yet, beyond hope, her claws held, matching the Autocons. They wrenched their weapons apart. Cat panting, arm on fire. The Autocon came again, savoring the moment, swinging with its claws, aiming for Cat's throats. She met the blows, her body suffering with each hit, their claws notching and holding together. Cat struggled for breath, exhausted. Raising her arm to defend herself was agony, her limbs heavy like stone. She fell to the ground. The Autocon hovered over her. It wrung its hands together in triumph. It raised its claws and attacked. Miss! Cat had managed to recover her strength, darted to her not-scar side, and scampered away, the Autocon finding nothing but churned earth. Cat forced her limbs to move, to demonstrate the speed that had so impressed her sisters. Her sisters! Walker! Walker dead! And where was Bird? Taken by Wheel! She had to save Bird. She forced the last little bit of shadow tech within, and formed her armature, allowing her to run on all fours. She tore across the ruins towards their habitation. Tears streamed down her face for her sisters. The Autocon followed in quick pursuit, floating just above the ground. Cat was fast enough to open some distance. Without hesitation, she bolted up the side of the ruin and clambered into the window of her habitation, the Autocon following.
I have waited to kill you. I have thought of little else as you subjected me to one humiliation after the next. All your insignificant questions as you squandered the Black Abyss's shadow tech,
it hissed. Cat skidded to a stop. The Autocon drifted in, its body rippling, eager for the kill. It took a chunk out of the stone with its claws to display its power, and then it fell on Cat, ready to tear her throat out and be done with her. Shadow Tech hit Shadow Tech. Cat's claws holding, screaming. Before the Autocon could attack again, Cat darted around it. Centrills appeared around its body. 1, 2, 3, thrown to the floor as the angels had taught her. Wheel hadn't taken the centrills, hadn't known what they were. She had left them in their pouch in Cat's basket. Now it would be the evil of the Black Hat's Autocon against the angels' gifts. Which would be greater? Cat watched with fascinated horror. The Autocon shrieked as Shadow Tech slewed away from its body in smoky chunks, rapidly diminishing in size. Cinders littered the floor as the Centrills did their work. The Autocon thrashed, trying to escape, but the Centrills held it in place. In misery, it tried to swipe at Cat. She chopped its arm off, releasing fire. The Autocon collapsed into a well of billowing smoke.
Free me, I beg you!
It cried, its voice a dying, hated whisper. That is for my sister Walker, Cat said. I will see you dead, the Autocon whimpered.
Wait! I can continue to serve you, good Cat. Devoted Cat. I'll go back into the device and be your slave again. I wish it.
The device was destroyed. Cat ignored it. She watched the Autocon bubble and smoke. It was no match for the angel's gifts. Moments from destruction, the Autocon was desperate.
Don't you want to know what the paper actually said?
Cat hesitated. Yes, she wanted to know. She was desperate to know. But she would not free the Autocon. She had to be strong. I will wait for my angels, and they will tell me what it says. The Autocon shrieked one final time and fell apart into aimless, drifting smoke. Gone. Dead. Walker avenged. Cat quickly dressed and pocketed the centrills, just in case she needed them again. Now, to save Bird. And on that note, we conclude Chapter 6, Wheel. Very short one, as I promised. The next one is the last chapter in part 1, chapter 7, known as Bella Thouser, and that one is also very short. And then we're done with the first part, and then the scene of the story radically changes. So looks like Walker has been killed, and Bird's fate is unknown as Cat pursues Wheel to try to rescue her. Will she be successful? We'll find out next week. At this same time, same channel. Until then, this is Ren Presents. I'm your host, Ren. Peace.